Yo, what's up? It's Mike Robinson here. I'm here to tell you about REUs, Research Experiences for Undergraduates, and why you should seriously consider doing an REU. So you might say, "Oh, I'm not interested in research." I say, psh, psh, just hold up. Let me make the case for it, and then you can decide. Okay, so just give me a few minutes of your time, please. So, what are REUs? These are research internships that generally occur in the summer. The vast majority are in the summer. Some happen in the fall or spring, but most of them occur in the summer. And they are hosted at a university or maybe at a field station somewhere. If you are accepted into an REU, you will go to this university or field station. You work with a faculty member, maybe sometimes a team of faculty members, on some research project that they have. And they'll give you this project. They'll say, okay, this is what you're working on this summer, this particular question. And it's going to be you, along with, depends on the size of the program, maybe a handful, maybe a dozen, maybe 3 dozen undergraduates from all over the country who are there as part of the same REU. Some of you will be working in the same laboratory, some of you may be working in different laboratories, but you're there as part of the same program. And in addition to doing research, you guys will be getting training and other things related to research. So, how to apply to graduate school, how to give good presentations or make a good poster, things like that. Reading scientific literature. Okay, it's a lot like a mini graduate school over a 2 month period in the summer. Okay, and generally it's a lot of fun because you're doing some cool stuff science wise, but you're also getting to hang out with your peers, people who are interested in the same stuff, and you'll have a lot of fun with them. Okay, what is great about an REU? Okay, so like I said, it takes about 8 to 10 weeks, give or take. Some are a little longer. Most of them are not longer than 10 weeks. Some might be shorter than 8. But it costs you nothing. The grant that funds these are funded from the National Science Foundation. The grant that funds them pays for your room and board and your travel. In addition, they give you a stipend. $5,000 is maybe typical, but it depends on the particular grant. Could be more, might be less, but it's not chump change. Okay, they give you a fair amount of money. So not only do you get to do this great experience for free, you get to do this great experience for money. So who are they for? Well, ideally, if you want to go to graduate school, so if you want a career in research, this is something that you should be doing. Okay? These are important experiences if you want to go to graduate school. But it will still be helpful if you want to, say, go to medical school, PA school, dental school, vet school, just go into industry. I mean, there's a variety of things you can do after undergraduate without going to graduate school. Okay? And as long as the REU doesn't interfere with other requirements that you might have, such as shadowing or volunteering, an REU experience would be great. Okay? It'll be great. So, number one, it'll be great fun, but number two, you'll learn a lot. And number three, it could be helpful for when you are applying for, say, medical school, to say that you had this experience, you've done this kind of work, get good letters of recommendation from your mentors, for example. Okay? Just pick something related to what you want to do. So if you want to go to med school, pick genetics or something like that. It doesn't matter. Okay? Pick something that's going to be interested in sort of in your wheelhouse. Now, I'm giving this sort of presentation here for my advisees, almost all of whom are marine biology advisees. But so a lot of the examples I give are going to be focused on marine biology, but There is a broad spectrum of research that is covered by these things. Okay? So you should be able to find something that will interest you. These are, as the name implies, REU. The U is for undergraduate. So if you are a junior or a sophomore, apply. Definitely apply. If you're a freshman, yeah, you can give it a shot. It's harder for freshmen to be accepted. Although I had a freshman who was accepted to an REU at Harvard. Okay, it depends on sort of the experiences you have. So if you are doing research as a freshman, then that is going to make you more appealing to an REU. They want to see students who have at least some education under the belt and have some sort of experiences related to this. Having said that, though, don't think because you haven't done research that you are not going to be accepted. The whole point of these things is to train you in research. So you don't say, oh, I've never done research, I'm not going to be accepted into an REU. They're going to accept people with zero experience in research because what they want to do is then train you in how to do research. So for a lot of people, this is their first introduction to research. Okay? So don't let that be a barrier to you applying. Okay? But these things can be competitive, and so if they have juniors applying for a position, they're less likely to take a freshman. If you find something you really want to do, give it a shot. But maybe email them first and say, "Dear so and so, I'm a freshman. These are my experiences. I want to do this, apply for this REU. Could you tell me if I have a realistic chance or not?" Okay. Okay. So, what are you gonna do? You have to do your research. I don't mean do your research as in like do your biology research. You have to do your research into the REUs. Okay? You're going to have to do some legwork to find REUs that are interesting to you and that you think you will be accepted into. I give you I would say roughly 10. Okay? That's not a hard and fast number. You could find more. You could find fewer. But if it's your first go around, I would say find at least 10 that you want to apply to. Okay? That will give yourself an honest chance to get them. I have here a deadline end of November. Again, that's not a hard and fast rule either, but starting at the end of November into December is when the applications are going to open. So you would like to have your ducks lined up in a row so that when the applications open, you can get your application in there. Okay? One thing to consider. So these REUs cover a wide array of topics. Okay? And some of the topics are sexier than others. So, what I would suggest is find several dream programs. Say you want to work with dolphin behavior. So, find a REU that does dolphin behavior. Now, I don't promise there's going to be one out there for everybody, right? I mean, your interest might be a lot more specific than REUs that exist. That's fine. But let's just say you want to work on dolphins, so you find some REUs that work on dolphins. Okay? Those are sexy. There's going to be a lot of people applying for them. A lot of people want to work with dolphins. So find some that you might think are a little less sexy, right? So find something that works on, you want to do behavior, find something that looks at the behavior of something else in the ocean, octopus, fish, sea stars, okay? Or maybe the behavior of something that doesn't even live in the ocean, getting a little further away from what you want to do, okay? Um, like maybe you're looking at the behavior of nematode worms up in the University of Minnesota, okay? That could be a perfectly great REU. So find a few like that. it'll become a little clear what I'm talking about by the end of the video. So if you love dolphins, if you love sharks, I hope you get a shark REU. I hope you get a dolphin REU. Okay? But also think, what is it that you want to do with sharks? What is it that you want to do with dolphins? Do you like their behavior? Then consider doing an REU in animal behavior. It doesn't have to be sharks, dolphins, doesn't even have to be marine, but something related to animal behavior would be useful. Do you like, let's say you like deep sea fish physiology? You like the idea of these fish living at these cold, dark temperatures with high pressure. Okay? Maybe there's not an REU for that, but look for physiology in other organisms. Okay? So, the benefit of that, right, is that what you are getting is research training. Okay? So, keep that in mind. You are getting research training. And so, if you want to study shark behavior, you might not get an REU in which you're going to learn about shark behavior, but you're going to learn techniques that are related to behavior. Okay? And so, learning the techniques of animal behavior in a bird or an insect will assist when you study shark behavior in graduate school. So, you can apply to graduate school to study shark behavior, and you can say, yes, as an undergrad, I studied the mating behavior in cardinals. And people were like, all right, great. That's good. We can use that kind of information when we're studying sharks. Or even if it's not related, right? So you want to study shark behavior in graduate school and you end up doing the genetics of a species of plant in Oregon. Just the fact that you are doing research and learning general research techniques will be beneficial. Okay? Also, though, remember, if you're doing behavior people tend to know each other. So just because someone does shark behavior at one university and another person does bird behavior at another university doesn't mean that they don't go to meetings and don't know each other and can't talk about that, talk about you and say, yeah, you should take this student in your lab as a graduate student. I had them as an undergrad and they're great. Okay? It's the questions asked and the techniques you learn that are more important than what they're on. Okay? So, now you're excited about an REU. How do you find an REU? Well, let's see here. Simple, simple, simple. You can just Google NSF REU. And then this will come up. Now you can come here, REU for students. And this just kind of describes what the program is. And then there's a link here, search for an REU site. Or you could just click on this, search for an REU site. Boom. And now it brings up a whole lot of subjects where these research areas. Okay. Now you can search by research areas and keywords. All right. Or you can just look through these areas. Now, so if you want to, you could say, I want to do marine biology. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Boom. And you do that, and what do we have? We have 17 programs that have marine biology listed. So these are potentially good programs. You could just go through here and see which ones they have. Now let me just show you sort of a little bit how to read this. Right. So here's the name of the site. Here's a link that will take you to the site. I'll show you that in a second. It's where? It's in Maine. Okay. So again, you don't have to worry about traveling to Maine. You might live in Florida, California, Hawaii, whatever. They'll pay for your flight to Maine. Here are the people you need to contact if you need information, but don't contact them frivolously. Make sure you look for information first, and then if you have questions, then you ask them. All right, so here are the research topics keywords: oceanography, marine biology, climate research, microbiology, virology, sensory biology, invertebrate ecology, invertebrate biology. Boom. Okay. So there's a lot, that's a pretty broad area. And that's going to be true of a lot of REUs. They're going to have lots and lots of things that they cover. Okay, application website usually opens in January with due dates in mid-February. Okay, so that one is not really going to be due until the early part of next semester. Some will be due in early January. Some of them they show. There was one that was March. There's March, February, March. Okay, so but you would like to get started on this now so you can take this at a relaxed pace. Okay. If we want to, like, this one seems interesting. Okay. This one seems interesting. So we click on this link. I'm going to open it in a new tab so we don't lose this page. It says goodbye because we're leaving NSF. Now we're going here. So undergraduate research experience. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So I haven't read this yet. So let's see. So you can scan through here. You can see some of the stuff they are going to talk about. It's 10 weeks. Okay. You develop a proposal, conduct research, prepare an abstract. All right. Research areas vary year to year. Applications will be open January 1st. Okay. And then when will they be due? I don't know. I think it said on the previous page mid-February. All right, it's not a hard date, but probably around February 15th or something. Maybe there's an FAQ. How much does it cost? Boom, boom, boom. Look at that, $6,000. So you get $600 a week for 10 weeks. Okay. What's the program schedule like? All right, so basically you're going to be working full time, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Okay. But where you're going to live, you're going to live on the Bigelow Lab campus. Okay. And here, well, Bigelow does not have a dining facility, so you're responsible for your own meals. Okay, so that's a little bit of information to know. There are kitchens, so you're going to have to cook. Some places will have meals, some places they won't. So there is a bunch of information in that you can get here that will tell you about the program. Okay, how to apply. All right, so this will give you information about the program. These are the mentors from last year. So if you wanted to see what they were doing, right, you can look at that. I assume that this will be updated when the new applications open. And you can look at past students. All right, past students. This is just going to list students. Sometimes they will list, here we go, REU abstracts. So this will give you a clue about the research that students were doing. All right, so I clicked on that, opens up this PDF, and I can just kind of scroll through here. It looks like some of this was done remotely. Okay, so this is 2020. Okay, so that explains why. I don't even know what this is. An IPSC line for Chrysostria virginica. I should know what Chrysostria is. I think it's a bivalve. But don't tell anybody I don't know that. Hydrocarbon gradients. Okay. Phytoplankton. Behavioral response of the scopopod to oil spills. Respiration in coastal waters. So that's more of like a physiology thing. Forecasting whale populations with machine learning and big data. Day and night influences on zooplankton community. So you can get an idea of what kind of research was done. Okay, so this is the kind of legwork that you need to do to see if these programs will appeal to you. Okay, College of Charleston. Here's another one. Have some friends at College of Charleston. Open up. Here we go. All right, so here's REU at College of Charleston. These are the dates from last year. Okay, so presumably they'll be similar to this year. So the due date will be middle of February. Okay, the application has not yet been updated. Okay, so make sure you read it because in this last year, the summers program will be run with local students only. So last year, if you lived in Charleston, this could be useful to you. But if you didn't live in Charleston or you couldn't commute to the lab, then it would not have been useful to you. Okay, so you got to read these things through. This kind of illustrates what you need to um, do. Here's the research schedule. It kind of shows sort of what they did throughout the weeks. Okay, again, just to give you an idea about what they're doing and if this stuff would be of interest to you. Okay, so that's if I searched for marine biology. You can do search all kinds of things, but I don't recommend you just look at marine biology because there's going to be, like I said, maybe you want to do behavior of bats, something like that. Okay, maybe that would be a great thing for you to do, even though you want to be a marine biologist. Okay, so where should you look? Biological sciences would be a good one to look. Earth sciences, perhaps. Ocean sciences, okay, but you got to remember, ocean sciences is going to have a lot of things that are physical oceanography, chemical oceanography, polar programs. Maybe you're going to do something at the poles. That would be kind of cool. Um, that's pretty much the ones that you're going to want to look at. Okay. Now there's going to be some overlap in these, but here you go. So here are the biological sciences site. There's 141. So hopefully you're going to be able to find something that's useful. I like to download them as an Excel file. Here is the ocean sciences. There are 39 of them. Okay. Here is the polar ones. There's only a couple of these. There's only two. Okay. But, some of these could be something pretty cool. I mean, going to Alaska and looking at ecology up there could be awesome. I would love to go to Alaska. So while I'm here, I want to point out one thing. Here is one, BIOS, the Bermuda Institute of Ocean Sciences. Now, like I said, most of these take place in the summer. This one takes place during the fall. Okay? And so it's possible to do something that takes place outside of the summer. You just have to, well, you would want to talk to me, your advisor, and we could figure out, make sure that you're still going to be able to take the classes you need and graduate and stuff like that. Okay? So it's possible to do these things during the school year. Okay? And this is a very interesting one, so you might want to take a look at that. But you don't have to look simply for ones that are held during the summer. Okay? So just keep that in mind. But again, that's why you have to do your research. You have to find some ones that kind of interest you, then you have to read about it. Okay, so let's see. Let's say here's the Excel sheet that I downloaded of all 141 of those biological sciences ones. And there's a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here you're not going to really need. But you can come over here and look and see what this one is: biology, biosciences, biomedical engineering, chemistry, physics. That's pretty broad. Biosciences, evolution, invertebrate, vertebrate. All right, that's probably, I think that's the American Museum of Natural History. Yes. So they do a lot of sort of diversity kinds of things like that. So there are a lot of ones here that you can look at that could be interesting to you. What I would recommend is going through here and ones that you're like, that I have zero interest in that whatsoever. Okay, so you maybe have zero interest in computational biology, bioinformatics, genomics, and neuroscience. Then go ahead and mark that with a red one. Okay, and ones that you might be interested in, just leave them kind of white. And then ones that you are definitely interested in, so I don't know, maybe you're interested in neuroscience, put a green. Okay, just have some sort of system. All right, some sort of system where you can go through here efficiently and get rid of the ones that you're not going to apply for and come back to the ones that you do want to apply for. Here's the College of Charleston one. Let's say that one's a green. Okay. Now I said you're going to want to apply to 10. You should have more than 10 greens. Okay, at this stage, more than 10 greens. And then you can look at them and say, then you can pick and choose which ones you like the best. Okay? Okay, so, what, did I lose my power? Oh, no, there it is. Okay, and so these are the list of REU sites. So you want to put together a master list of REUs that you're applying to and the requirements, including the due dates. All right, you're going to want letters of recommendation. So remember, you need to give recommenders at least 2 weeks for them to write you a good letter of recommendation. At least 2 weeks. So you could start asking people now. Say, hey, I'm going to apply for an REU. Would you mind writing me a letter? Blah, blah, blah. They could maybe even start writing the letter over the break, even before you give them the details about where you're going to apply. Okay, but just be upfront about it. Say, I don't know where I'm applying just yet. I know I'm going to apply. The letter will probably be due middle of January, middle of February, middle of March. Okay, so make sure you get them all the information that they're going to need to write you a good letter. So that's the due dates, how to submit them, what the REU is about. So I'm applying to this REU because I want to study coral reef acidification. Okay. Why you're interested in it? I am interested in this because I want to go to graduate school to study this kind of stuff. Whatever the case might be. Okay. Now, there are other ways that you can look for these internships, right? So these I just talked about REUs, okay? Well, I'm not there yet. So I just talked about REUs. But there are other things that you can do other than looking at NSF REUs. So you could just search, you could just do REU and let's say REU shark biology. And then here's one at University of North Florida. That's probably Jimmy G and some people there. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm sure she's a great mentor. Oh, there he is. There's Jimmy G. Okay, so there are a bunch of people there who do these kinds of things, right? So this is an REU, okay? And so that's kind of a direct way to find some of the stuff that you want to study. So you could just do REU shark biology, for example. Okay. You could do a summer research internship for undergraduates. All right, and this is going to what? I don't want to do that. All right, so there's going to be a whole bunch of ones that come up. So for this one, you're going to want to be a little bit more precise. Let's say marine biology. Okay, and there could be some stuff that pops up. Let me see. Nothing really jumps out. Summer internship program at FAU. Okay, that could be something. At Harbor Branch, which is a marine lab associated with FAU. Okay, so now some of these things you're going to get are going to be old from previous years. Awards will be announced April 1st. So this is from last year, but a lot of them just have not updated their websites yet. Okay, there's also other funding agencies. So NIH, the National Institutes of Health, is another one that you could do. Now, the National Institutes of Health is not really going to fund stuff that's directly related to marine biology. I mean, some people might be doing something that's vaguely related, but here's one: National Institute of Health Summer Research Program at UCSC, all right, University of California, Santa Cruz. And so you click on here, and boom, this comes up. Now, these are going to be things that are particularly of interest if you're whatever, if you want to go to medical school, PA school, dental school, things like that. But you can still find something interesting with that. Okay, now one thing I want to tell you about is be careful of internships that don't pay you anything or those that charge you. Okay? Now, it's your time, it's your money, okay? And if you're good with that situation because you think this you're going to get a good experience or you're going to enjoy it, okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. But they are not as prestigious as an REU. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but an REU is in general more prestigious than internships where they are expecting you to pay. A lot of the sexiest internships expect you to pay. Okay, not REUs, but like you'll see internships on dolphins and turtles and sharks and whatnot that expect you to pay money. And it could be a fun experience, but again, it's not the same reputation as an REU that pays you and pays for everything. That basically should cost you nothing. Okay, so that's it. Um, you should hopefully know enough now about what REUs are so that you can go out and find some. Okay, make sure you do this. I would say do this now, right? Do it now. Complete your applications early. Some will have rolling admissions. So if you know there are some REUs that you definitely want to apply to them right away. And they will accept students, and maybe sometimes they'll have a deadline, but some of them will have rolling admissions, and they'll just as soon as they get enough students, then they're done. They don't want to think about it anymore. Okay? What are you waiting for? Get to work. Go find some REUs.